back, Johnny Depp's legal team is expected to rest their case in chief earlier this week or next. Then Amber Heard's attorneys will start presenting their case. And our Chanley Painter is reporting that the first witness out of the gate, at least at this point, for the defense will be Amber Heard. 3 weeks of testimony has already revealed a disturbing relationship between Depp and Heard. It's also revealed their connection to several high-profile celebrities. On Depp's witness list is Avengers star Paul Bettany. Depp was questioned about Bettany and their text messages when he was on the stand. And on Heard's witness list, you have actor James Franco and Elon Musk, Tesla CEO, Twitter guy. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter explores why Elon Musk would have a connection to this case.
Billionaire Elon Musk is no stranger to the spotlight. His business ventures make news and shake markets, but his next headliner could have more to do with his private life. Musk briefly dated Amber Heard, who's fighting a lawsuit with ex-husband Johnny Depp. The billionaire's name has been part of the defamation case from the start.
You'll find out that Mr. Depp is obsessed with Elon Musk.
Depp called out the Tesla CEO in his initial complaint. He accused his ex-wife of starting a relationship with Musk about a month after marrying Depp in 2015. The complaint alleges that Heard told staff at the couple's penthouse to give her friend Elon access to the building's parking garage and penthouse elevator late at night. Depp's lawyers also asked Musk for records of correspondence with Heard on various dates from 2013 to 2016, including text that Heard accused a Depp lawyer of leaking to the press.
He wanted to destroy her.
Heard has denied cheating on Depp with Musk. Now, the billionaire's lawyer told People magazine that they started dating after Heard and Depp split in May of 2016. That's when Heard sought a restraining order against Depp and when Isaac Baruch said he first saw Musk in the building.
I'm getting into the elevator on the rooftop, penthouse level, and he's coming out of the elevator, going past me.
And when did that take place?
This is after May. This is sometimes June, it could be July, but after May.
In that same year, 2016?
Yeah.
Elon Musk is on Heard's witness list as she fights to prove that Depp ruined her life with false allegations that she abused him.
The evidence will show that for years, all Mr. Depp has wanted to do is humiliate Amber, to haunt her, to wreck her career. That's what the evidence will show, in his words.
Let's bring back our guests who have been with us all morning, Kelly Hyman and Karen Charrington. Karen, do you, does this star power, how does it, in your opinion, sort of cloud this case overall? It just is a little different, is it not, when you have these names and people have preconceived notions about the person who is going to deliver some sort of testimony when you compare it to a complete stranger?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think when you have this star power, it will, have the jury feeling like, should I be on Musk's side? Even though the trial is not even about him, but the fact that he may testify on behalf of Amber Heard, will that give some level of, star power to her case, where they may be swayed because of these people testifying? The fact that Johnny Depp is who he is, right, is also going to come into play with the jury's deliberations, and hopefully they have no biases one way or another, because these are both high-profile actors. So this star power coming in, it also adds to the drama of this case, which I believe this is really just one dramatic, sort of theatrical presentation. So it's really adding to just this drama of this case.
Yeah, the drama continues to build day by day. I mean, you think it's going to settle down a little bit, and then something else happens. We're about 20 minutes away from the beginning of testimony. Amber Heard just arrived to the courthouse a few moments ago. As always, she's pretty quick getting from vehicle into the courthouse. And there have been some security concerns reported about her because of the amount of Johnny Depp fans there and people that are so pro-Depp. I'm sure it's a very uncomfortable and difficult position to be in. Kelly, to you on this idea of the high profile, you know, we don't know for sure if Elon Musk is going to take part in the trial. His name's been brought up several times. He's on the witness list. But you know, if he gets up there and I'm a juror, well, I might be thinking about, oh, I love Tesla, or I really hate Twitter, or whatever, you know, what it might be. It's different because you've got some sort of one-sided relationship with this person that is now talking about the case at hand.
No, I think that's true. You bring up a really interesting point, because if he testifies, are people going to really like him because he's a billionaire? Are people going to be really upset the fact that he bought Twitter and it's going private, and people are very, very unhappy about that? But we have to think about, if he's going to testify, what is he going to testify to, and how is he going to help Amber and substantiate her claim? Is he going to testify and say, yes, that at that time that Amber told him that the situation with Johnny Depp was abusive, but if he didn't see anything and that's all hearsay, are they going to let all that testimony come in? Or is he going to help substantiate the fact that yes, that this whole situation has ruined her and that it's caused her psychological harm? We're just going to have to wait and see if he's going to take the witness stand and what exactly he's going to say. But absolutely, it brings more intrigue, more drama to this. This is like a soap opera playing out every day. We don't know what's going to happen. But we also have to remember that these are human beings, and it is their life, and it really is affecting both of them, personally, professionally, and psychologically as well. And I think it's important to take that into account as we watch this trial play out in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if Elon Musk were to partake in this, it would be part of this case. It would be during Amber Heard's case in chief, which we're expecting to begin next week. Coming up, testimony from the police officer who responded to Heard's domestic violence call, what she says she noticed when she arrived at Johnny Depp's penthouse. That and more coming up next. We're about 20 minutes away from day 10. Stay with us. There's the arrival of Johnny Depp just a few moments ago while we were in commercial break. As always, he acknowledges our Court TV cameraman, and then the bailiffs, and then finally the fans that are cheering for him outside the courthouse. Much different entrance each day than Amber Heard's, which is more direct. We're just a few moments away from testimony to resume in this $50 million libel lawsuit that Johnny Depp filed against his ex-wife, Amber Heard. She, of course, has the $100 million countersuit. The crux of the case, of course, centers around a Washington Post article that Amber Heard wrote back in 2018, where she describes herself as a domestic abuse survivor. A claim that Depp says is a clear reference to him, although his name is actually never mentioned in the op-ed. The jury has seen plenty of evidence so far of the former couple fighting. There was also a 2016 incident when police were actually called to a domestic violence call at Depp's penthouse. Take a listen.
I ask you to take a look at exhibit number 27. Again, do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you see redness on the cheek of Amber Heard on this one?
Yes, I do.
All right. And then you had testified on a number of these other pictures, and on this one as well, that this is consistent with crime. Do you see any redness on Amber's other cheek?
Yes, I do.
Is it the same or similar to the redness on the cheek, on the right cheek?
Based on this photo, it looks like one cheek is redder than the other.
But you also don't see any swelling with that?
Correct.
I'm going to ask you to take a look at what has been marked as exhibit number 28. Do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you see redness on the right cheek and above the eye?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And is it your perception that this reflects any type of, or could reflect any type of injury?
No,
Why not?
because my perception is it was consistent with her crying.
All right, let's take this down, go to 29. I'm going to ask you the same questions. Do you recognize this as Amber Heard?
Yes,
And do you see any redness in the right cheek and above the eyelid?
yes,
Okay, and is it your perception that these are not indicative of injury?
yes.
And what is your reasoning?
It's consistent with her crying.
Let's take this one down. Let's go to number 30. Now, you testified earlier that you thoroughly searched the penthouse. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Josh Drew, the gentleman that you called the generic male, actually took you through, escorted you through the penthouse and the series of penthouses, correct?
Correct.
Officer Science, did you or did you not thoroughly search the penthouses on May 21st, 2016?
We did search the penthouse.
Okay. And you used the term thoroughly, did you not?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you feel like you conducted a thorough search of the penthouses that night?
Yes, I did. I did a sweep of the location for the suspect.
Okay. And when you're talking about a sweep of the location, did you go through every room?
Yes, every room.
Okay. And was there anyone escorting you through those rooms?
Yes, the same male that we were met with at the beginning of the call.
That you called the generic male, correct?
Correct.
Now, you also testified a little earlier that this was a very nice series of penthouses, right?
Yes.
Did you interview the woman that was sitting with Amber Heard?
I attempted to. All parties were uncooperative.
What did you say to the woman that was with Miss Heard?
I don't recall the exact words, but I introduced myself to everyone and asked if they seen what happened or know what happened, and they all refused to speak to me.
Did you ask for their names?
I recall, yes, I did ask for their names. Nobody would give me their names.
Now, that's a little unusual, isn't it?
No, it's not. A lot of people don't like us.
Well, is it that they don't like you, or is it potentially that they don't want to, with a domestic violence situation, are reluctant to press charges?
Every situation's different. Based on my training experience where I work, it's usually that people do not like us.
Do you have a recollection of what the woman who was with Amber Heard looks like?
No recollection.
Do you know what color hair she had?
I have zero recollection.
So you don't recall how old she was, how tall she was, what her hairstyle was, what she was wearing, anything about her?
Zero recollection.
But somehow you're sure you tried to interview her and she refused to answer questions.
Yes, it's common practice. I try to interview everyone during my investigation.
So did you pull out your notebook at any time while you were in the penthouse?
I did not. I had nothing to write. No one would speak to me.
Well, how did you know that when you started asking the questions that they weren't going to give an answer?
Because they just looked at me.
But wouldn't you pull out your notebook first and then ask the questions? Then write down the answers as they're giving them to you?
No, I don't put anything in my hands for officer safety issues until I'm sure that I have something to write.
I'm sorry, officer. Can you repeat your answer?
I don't put anything in my hands for officer safety reasons. If I'm not sure I'm going to write, I keep my hands free. When I ask the questions, I got no answers. Therefore, I didn't take out any notebooks or pens.
That officer obviously deposed at an earlier date that was played for the jury. Kelly Hyman and Karen Charrington are still with us. Karen, the cross-examination of trying to attack the officer, it was a little bit annoying and like chalkboard, scratching it, because this officer came across as expected, doing her job. No one's talking to her, doesn't get any names, doesn't see any harm to anybody there physically, moves on, writes a report, and she's out of there. The badgering of a witness like that, can it backfire? Do jurors actually hold lawyers responsible for their techniques in a case? Can you develop a love or a hatred for an attorney that moves the ball?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in this case, I think the good thing is that this attorney, just in her demeanor, even though she was asking questions that seemed unnecessary and wasn't going anywhere, at least she didn't come off as if she was badgering the witness or really attempting to make the witness look bad or feel a certain way. So there, even though I don't think she got much out of it, she does have a job to try to uncover anything she can on cross. If you have a witness saying that she saw someone and didn't have injuries, I think her observation was pretty subjective, that this officer, she did say, you know, that she saw redness, but she thought it was because she was crying, but she's not an expert, so she can't really say that. So I think bringing that out, those were some good things to bring out on cross. So, but I think this attorney's demeanor is one where she doesn't really come off as being belligerent, even though it may seem a little boring and unnecessary.
And she's consistent throughout. So that's key. She wasn't going after this witness any more than she's gone after anybody else. Kelly, I want to switch gears back to the testimony from the expert that came in, Dr. Shannon Curry, and talked about Amber Heard's mental fitness. One of the questions that a lot of us have had is, well, what about Johnny? What about his mental fitness? Did he get evaluated? Well, according to sources close to the Depp team, he was not evaluated, and the reason that Amber Heard was evaluated is because she brought it up in pretrial motions that PTSD was a part of the equation. They asked then for an independent evaluation of the PTSD, and that's where Dr. Curry comes in. She comes in and now testifies, oh, I think she was lying about the PTSD, but by the way, world, she's got, in my opinion, borderline personality disorder. This seems like a colossal nightmare for the Heard team that they started this, and legally it was allowed an independent evaluation. If you want to say PTSD, our person gets to come and see yes or no. Your thoughts on that revelation that Johnny Depp was not examined, but she was, and sort of huge advantage, is it not?
Absolutely. I think you bring up a really good point. We talk about the narrative. Like a trial is like theater. It's time for the plaintiffs to tell their story and have their voice be heard. And absolutely, Johnny is absolutely telling his story to the American people. And this woman helps substantiate the fact that Johnny's saying that I was not the aggressor. Yes, I am not perfect. I came from an abusive family. I had issues with substance abuse, alcohol abuse. I'm not perfect at all, but I was not the aggressor. I didn't hurt this woman. I've never hurt women before. And because of Amber's mental health issues, that she has these problems and has these issues, and she is the aggressor. And this doctor helped substantiate that and did a very good job.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Karen, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
.com.
Did you provide a copy of this pamphlet to Amber Heard?
I did not. I did not identify her as a victim of domestic violence. We met with the victim. We checked the location. The husband wasn't there. And that the victim advised us that she just had an argument and that she wasn't going to give us any further information.
The hour. Welcome back to Court TV. It is day 10 of live testimony in Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's courtroom war. Our cameras are in the courtroom. We're bringing you this trial from start to finish, gavel to gavel. There's a live look inside the courtroom. The judge has just taken the bench, and as is customary of each day, a quick sidebar to make sure all parties are on the same track before they bring the jury in. Let's bring in Alexis Rosenberg. She's an attorney in Sarasota, Florida, and Kelly Hyman. She's been with us all morning. She's in West Palm Beach, Florida. Alexis, welcome. Good morning to you as we get ready for day 10 of this trial. Yesterday, we heard a lot of testimony, and significantly, Dr. Shannon Curry got up and basically diagnosed Amber Heard for the entire world to hear. Your thoughts overall, how this is going for Johnny Depp, for Amber Heard, and specifically how that testimony yesterday may have moved the ball?
I think it's going fairly well for Johnny Depp. I mean, the psychologist was supporting and explaining much of Heard's behaviors. It supported the diagnosis that she had provided. I mean, there was some question, obviously, on cross, which is their job, to go in and discredit her with the fact that she had had drinks with Depp, the fact that there was some disclosures prior to her even evaluating and making her diagnosis that, Ms. Heard had borderline personality disorder. But it really did support her actions once we heard the different recordings and what she was doing on those recordings.
Kelly, set the table for today. It seems like this would be a good spot to stop if you're the Depp team. We are going to have a few more witnesses, specifically a couple more of these officers from Los Angeles that responded to this domestic violence call, and it turned out that they didn't get any cooperation with the people inside the apartment, including Amber Heard. What do they need to still do, or have they done enough, do you believe, to get a favorable verdict?
I think the team for Johnny Depp has done a great job representing him and advocating for him. But I think the officers are key because when people see them on the jury, they know they're unbiased. They don't have a fight in the game. So the fact that they were there and they helped substantiate Johnny's assertion that he wasn't the aggressor, that this is not true, that he was not a wife beater, that he didn't harm him. And I think the officers do a great job of being there and telling what happened, and they believe, based on what they saw, that she wasn't physically abused, and they tell a really good story for Johnny and help substantiate his claim. But I think it'd also be helpful to show how much economic harm he's had because of this. Have another person testify to it, of talking about how it's really ruined his career and will continue to ruin his career because of the harm of all this that he's been through.
Alexis, the idea that an officer shows up when a domestic violence call has been made can go two ways. Either nothing really happened and the person that called is having the feeling for calling in the first place, or something did happen and the feeling and the victim is having that same feeling because they don't want to put their aggressor into a rage. There's a lot of reasons why you don't cooperate in a domestic violence situation with police. Having more of these officers testify, do you think we'll get some clarification, even more so, because we're going to get some redundancy, but maybe some more clarification as well?
I agree with you. There's many reasons that victims of domestic violence might not cooperate. However, in this case, it seems that the officer that, as stated before, is unbiased and has come into the situation with the job to basically evaluate this and determine whether someone is in danger and what exactly is going on. And the initial testimony that we've heard, there was that she's not seeing that anybody has been harmed physically. There's no marks on Ms. Heard, and obviously she's upset. But with her experience and expertise, this officer did not perceive this to be a situation where she needed medical care or a situation where she needed to continue with that investigation. Now, obviously, we'll have to see what the other officers testify to, but I would assume that it's going to be similar and go along the same lines. Otherwise, one of the other officers probably would have either put in a report or something of that nature that they